cast my votes. You just love me. You've seen my heart and stood by me. This heart you found torn, broken, neglected, mistreated, but in your hands, baby, I feel rest. Accountable for every action that I put in motion. Promise I'll do my best to find a way to return this love that you gave. Wake up and choose you every day. I'll have you as long as you'll stay. And we'll fight today. Tomorrow we'll do the same. Falling in love with you all day. Because you look past my faults. You just
My thing is vibrating. What does that
It
mean?
means it's on.
I've never heard it vibrate before.
I'm asking you.
stood by me. This heart you found torn, broken,
Sorry, making a post.
mistreated, but
Make the post after.
Oh, we got it. Bro, slapping my side.
I'm a great baby daddy, you say? Was wet in the video. No, don't stop it.
I see a slide. Okay, go. Go slide. Go. Yeah, slide. Slide a little faster. Oh, God.
So what you got to do is you got to get the sand wet. Oh, did he slide all the way down?
He did.
Did he die?
Nope, he's good.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna get it. Maybe she should have died about like the third, fourth.
All right.
Ready to go. She got.
Lots of screaming. I wonder
Yeah.
if it's young children.
So, I wonder how much the mic is going to pick up.
And your sister is going to look at this and wonder what's going on. For the record, Alicia, this was my idea, not your sister's.
But there's a lot of adults here.
And there are a lot of adults here. And
So
I'm still a very
there's-
strong swimmer.
There's 5 adults and 3 teenagers.
And
so your
they,
son
as
is
long
in
as the
safe
children
place.
are in the water, the adults are in the water.
We have our nephews for the summer, and so we were thoroughly threatened by my middle sister to keep her son safe. But he came to Hawaii and was like, you know what?
He waited for his mom to leave before he
Yeah.
started acting.
He was like, you only live once.
You only live once.
YOLO. So yeah, we're sorry. We've been MIA. The thing is, there are things that are recorded. It's just the doing the things and putting the things together it's proving a challenge for us. So y'all pray our strength in the Lord as we figure this out, because we want to
What's challenging about it?
actually sitting down and doing it, like
That's it.
editing the videos and actually taking the time. Like I was gone 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You worked.
3 weeks ago. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Oh my God. And so actually finding the time to record and edit. We're trying to be consistent and true to the brand, which is
Every 2
be at the
weeks.
beach. We live in Hawaii. Our tag is living where you vacation. So it's important to us to get the beach content. And so I'm super excited. What beach we at, babe?
Babe, we are at Makaha Beach, hands down the best beach on Oahu.
Period.
Okay?
Wow.
West side is the best side. We have the bluest waters. We have the clearest water.
Yeah.
We have nicer waves
Yeah,
than, what was that? White Plains. White Plains is good if you're trying to learn how to surf
White Plains is where we usually record.
because it's right down the street from the house. Like Mimi runs to the beach. But Makaha is for sure my beach. I hate going to beaches that don't have waves. My Mimi, she likes to go to Ko'olina, and that's very safe. It's very safe for
It's very
your
touristy.
children. It's very touristy. But we like coming to Makaha. There's like
We like putting our life in danger.
there's maybe a total of 20 people
Yes.
out here right now,
Yes.
and you know it's just easier being out here and away from everything. And it's a bit of a drive because it's Makaha, but
Worth it.
worth it. Totally worth it.
80,000 potholes.
80,000 pounds.
20,000 homeless people.
Cops
but
that don't
worth
have
it.
regular cars.
Listen.
Use their personal cars.
But
But hey, West Side's the best side. But yeah, the consistency part, that's what's gonna get us. And she's really good about time blocking. I am not. I am about what do I feel like doing and then getting it done, which is why she's going to retire me soon because her business is more successful than mine. And I'm going to be a house husband where
Like the
I
anime.
like the anime. And it's going to be great. But I love you for it.
I love you too.
Mama, with your sexy.
What are we talking about today?
You had a title for it. You say the title.
Okay. We're talking about, well, the title is For Better or For Worse. Why doesn't our generation fight for marriage?
I do. I didn't want to mess up the title. I understood what the subject was. Just in case you thought I let you down.
Dun, dun, dun.
Why does our generation not fight for marriage? I think it's funny because I've been seeing a lot of stuff regarding marriage, and most part, that was a big wave. Don't look.
It's so hard not to look.
Men of this upcoming generation are not interested in getting married because they've seen how our generation has gone through divorce, where
Our generation or the generation before?
our generation, and like so our age group, so plus
We're
or
old.
minus 10 years,
We're
right? The thing is that when people were getting divorced, especially, and I can speak on the time, like military time, right? We used to go Iraq, Afghanistan, and guys would come to work and then they'd break out in tears because their wife just took everything. They come home. We came home from Africa, and the guy's house was empty. That was in Africa. That was Iraq. We came home and the guy's house was empty. No furniture, no nothing. His bank account had been emptied, and she hadn't been paying the rent on the spot. So all of that stuff went on his credit. The divorce happened. She got the kids. He got the debt. He got the what's it called, alimony. So, you know, what the men are saying today is that there's nothing in it for the man to get married. There's no point, because if there is a divorce, and we'll tackle that too. If there's a divorce, the man loses everything and the woman gets everything. She can marry up, a man can't marry up.
I remember we were looking at that. There was like that meme. I think you sent it to me, and it was talking about how, like, I don't know if it was like, tell me, you know, you've been in the military. I'll tell me you're in the military. Your first marriage don't count. And I remember, I mean, we
Sent it to
laugh,
me.
bro. We
Yeah.
laugh, but that sucks, because how many people we know our age who are on their second marriage, and the second marriage is what's counting. You know, the second marriage is what's, the second marriage is what's, like, really working. Oh, you got it? And so, I guess there's two things, right? Because the title is why doesn't our generation, because you said the generation coming up, but we're talking about our generation. And so why doesn't our generation fight for marriage? I remember before we started the Mike and Stay show, what was really like that put the fire under our butt is that we were having conversations with people our age, and we're talking millennial, you know, was it generation?
I don't know.
Whatever.
I lost it.
Whoever's after
X,
us,
Z,
but the like
Y12.
right there. So our generation is really like getting to a place where like either they're not wanting to get married or they're not, like giving up on their marriage. And honestly, each story is unique. There's so many people that we know their unique stories. But what the consensus has been is that people are really throwing away marriages after a transgression, whether it be, we're not even talking about infidelity. We're talking about like, I'm tired of fighting with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight with you no more, and so I'm done.
When that's the whole point of marriage. Marriage is a choice every day. I wake up, I'm going to fight for this. If there's nothing to fight about, that's great. Then we're going to fight for whatever we're trying to accomplish. But you have to be able to fight for each other, because you're only fighting because it's tough. You know, whether you're fighting against yourself because you're fighting against change, or your significant other is changing and you're trying to fight against that change. But it's only friction when there's something that you disagree with. And especially when we marry young, right? you don't know who you are at 18, 19, 20 years old. Because I can promise you by 25, you're going to be somebody different. And at 30, you're going to be somebody different. At 35, you're going to be reinforcing what you have come into this point. And I'm only 38, so I don't know what's going to happen at 40, 45, 55. You know, we have good examples in front of us. And they tell us all the time, like every day it's a choice. So that's what you're fighting for. You're fighting to make the right choices for your significant other. If you're doing something and I disagree with it, I can, one of two options, lash out at you because I don't know how to communicate effectively, or I can, hey, when you do this, it makes me feel like.
I feel, because learning that in sociology, you put up, I should have brought a notebook because you're always on it. You said, like, not willing to fight, and I lost my thought. Prayerfully it comes back. But that's my thought process. I think that people are going into marriage. Oh, you said they were young. So when you're 18 and 19, you don't know who you are. There's two things to that, right? There's a whole generation, our parents, you know, and their parents who were getting married at 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
Why is this generation also getting married later? We know so many, you know, single people who are in their 30s and their 40s who have either not been married or have not stayed married. And so that's a thing too, like a lot of people we know in this generation are not fighting because they're not realizing that you change. You said that, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's scientific or not, but they say that men change every 7 years. Women are different, and women are different because we have our cycles, right? And so a woman has 4 cycles in life, and she has 4 cycles in the month. So week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. There's also week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 in life, seasons. And so when I'm in my week 1 of my life, it's that teenage to the 20s, everything is great and it's awesome, and I have my whole life before me. Then there's that 20 to that kind of 30s, and you're kind of like, okay, I know that where I'm kind of going, I'm still excited about my life. Then there's that week 3 where it's kind of like 30, 40, and I'm kind of settling down who I am. I don't know how much I'm going to change. And then there's that week 4, which is like the rest of that life, 40, 50, where you're kind of like, not it is what it is, but I kind of am who I am, and you got to take me as you are, as I am. And I think that a lot of people are going into marriage unwilling to change.
Yes.
Unwilling to say that the person that I
accept me how I am.
Accept me as I am. This is who I am. Like that's a lie, bro. Just like we shed skin, we shed hair, you shed personalities, you shed characteristics. Like there are some things that are in your blood that are ingrained in you, but the idea of I'm doing life with this person is that I realize and I recognize that this person's gonna change. Yeah. Like we are not the same people that we were 7 years ago. I'm Correct. For sure not. And I might, it's unfortunately for you because I change, every 2 years or so. Poor thing.
I like it though.
Eating you
it keeps
alive.
it spicy.
I'm a piranha.
From the Amazon.
I'm a piranha. And so I think marrying young for sure, because you brought up the military, because on the other hand, we know so many people who have gotten married young, who have been successful in marriage. But there's so many people that we know. And the things that we kind of notice too, I'm big on, if I go to your wedding, I am standing by and I believe in what you stand for. So there's been a couple of weddings that I haven't been to that I'm not going to stand before God with you and say that I agree with your marriage. And not saying that in all those situations those didn't work out, but we've seen quite a few marriages where people have jumped into something and I kind of been like, and now it has not been successful.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's that not asking the pertinent questions the believing in the puppy love. I do believe in puppy love. I believe in puppy love.
Yeah, I like
when
you.
you're 16, 17, 18.
9.
You cannot, you cannot have puppy love in your late 20s and early 30s. You cannot have puppy love in your late 30s and your early 40s. That's just not realistic. And there's something that you have to come into a marriage with that gives you, it's the constitution, it's the foundation that carries you through the years. And so I think our generation is lazy.
Yeah.
I think that they're not willing to fight. I think that it's easier to give up and start over. Not for me, bro.
Yeah, if it doesn't come easy, then it's a waste of my time. Or if I have to work at it, then it's a waste of my time. People,
If it's too hard.
Yeah. People, Apostle calls it that microwave generation.
Yes.
You know, they want it to, it's either going to work the way I want it to work or it's not. And I'm gonna find somebody that wants to work it the way I want to work
Right.
it, and it's not always the thing. Like I know there's things that I do that just absolutely irritate you, and you don't speak on it. You don't speak on it. Or it gets to a point where it's like you're sick of me doing it. Now something has to be said, but then you collect yourself. You come and you present it almost like a business meeting and be like, "This is what I need from you."
Me and the board have met. When I say the board, me,
No,
myself,
don't tell
and
them
I,
the names. Don't
me,
tell them the
myself, and
names.
I have met with
Yeah.
each other.
And then what are the things that, and this is not a question, what are the things that people are willing to accept of the other person's significant other? Shaving my head, and we'd be shaving my head before church, and I would want to clean up my hair after, church, come home, but I wasn't always doing it. And you're an immediate type of person. You shave your head right now, you clean up right now. Because it's the same way you are in the kitchen. I'm cooking right now, I clean as I cook. Whereas I was a wait person. You say go and do this, I'm like, okay, I will get it done,
In
but it's
36 minutes.
do it now.
In
I
2
want you to do
days.
it right now.
Right
And
now.
that's something I had to grow to accept, because what's going to be the consequences and repercussions of my actions
Right.
if I don't get it done right now. And so now I have to weigh those options, right?
And that's a communication thing too.
Yeah.
Instead of being mad, I also had to learn, like, do I really need it done right now, or is it a preference
Yes.
thing? You leave the hair on the sink and on the floor, we're stepping on it, it's blowing, that should be done right now. Do I need you to move this picture? It's been standing there and I want you to hang it up. It's already been sitting there for 2 weeks. Do I need you to do it right now? No, that's a preference thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's also important too, to be realistic and what is urgent and what's not urgent. So I do appreciate you, because I know that you're very attentive
Yeah.
to that.
But I think to me that's the fighting portion. That is I'm picking my battles. What is important to stand my ground on? This is what I will not do. I refuse. We can work through this. Or, like you said, maybe Mike, I should. Okay, is this game really important? Minus the one game you turned it off. We were playing for money. Back when I was good at 2K. That was the only time you lost us money. But other than that, you've been amazing with adjustments and Xbox and children and happy baby daddy day to me. And
That's just my baby daddy. That's just my baby daddy. That's just my baby daddy. I do think that, not wanting to fight, not very. What's that song that's in my head? Why does love always feel like a battlefield?
No air girl. What's her name?
I don't know. Better choose your armor.
No.
And so I do think that, people are not willing to fight. People are not willing to change. People are not going into marriage realizing that that you are constantly making adjustments. You're constantly making tweaks. You're constantly having to sit down, and having those hard conversations. I think people are not good at having hard conversations. What happens if you cheat? Is cheating a deal breaker? What happens if you lose your job and I have to work? Is me going to work and you staying at home a deal breaker? What happens if, we do decide that I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom, and now I'm at home with the kids all day and dealing with the house all day, and you get to leave for work and you come back, and in my mind I'm doing more work than you, and I don't feel appreciated. Like, what happens if we do disagree on what church we go to, and you don't want to go to the same church as me, and we go to different churches. What happens if we do disagree on finances? What happens if we do disagree on whether or not it's okay for you to like girls' pictures on Instagram
Man,
and
that was
comment?
brutal.
I'm just saying, like, people are unwilling to have those hard conversations, and a lot of people don't do premarital counseling, and so if you're not, and premarital counseling doesn't prepare you for everything, but it prepares you for a lot of stuff. But when those things come up in marriages, people are legit giving up,
Yeah.
and they're not saying, okay, so this is something that we did not plan for. Let's sit down and have this hard conversation. People are not willing to have the hard conversations and say, so that sucks when I feel, because
Yeah.
they just want to be like, so I'm done. I'm like, so at what point did you become done? At what point did we stop having a conversation? At what point did you stop communicating? At what point did you stop
Yes.
telling me how you felt? At what point did you?
When did you check out?
When did you check out? People, they
Yeah.
check out.
We was here. We was at the hotel. We were having a grand old time, breaking headboards, and then at some point in time, you gave back the key, and you left. And that's where you got to kind of go and analyze that part of it, because there's always warning signs before the quitting, and a lot of it is being nonchalant, not attentive. Like, if you keep telling me to do something, and I'm just not listening to it, versus not getting it. Sometimes not getting it, I can't tell you how many things you just give me grace on. But then there's the opposite of not being attentive, where in the beginning of the marriage, there was a lot of Xbox going on. But then there was times when you were just like, I want you to come, and we're gonna go watch this movie upstairs. And it might not always be about the movie upstairs. It could be that whatever was going on through the day, act right, fix yourself. That's
That
it.
umbrella trying to
You
keep up
fix
the
it?
ghost.
Fix it. Just fix it.
Don't break it.
Yeah. There you go. What was I saying?
And get out the frame. Thanks you. I love you. Whooping.
I lost my thought.
Xbox.
Xbox.
Movies.
Going upstairs. It wasn't always about the movies.
About time.
It was the time, yes. And then knowing the love languages. I think that could be the closing thought. No.
I think that love language is a real thing.
Yes, facts.
I think that it matters about how people want to be loved. And I think it's important that you love people the way they want to be loved, how they need to be loved. There's so many things you go into marriage thinking, and you have to be okay when your thought process was wrong.
Yes.
And so I thought you liked this, and it's because when we're courting, it's all pitter pat, heart is pitter patter, heart shaped eyes, and then life happens, and it's just like, oh, so you actually don't like this. For example, when we got married, I said I will always wear heels.
Yeah.
That was our thing. And then life happened, and it was just like,
Yeah.
is it realistic for me to always wear heels?
No.
Is it realistic or practical for me to always, like, in certain situations? And then you go back to the drawing board and you say, the tit for tat when in our petty days was like, well, won't you take me somewhere where I could wear heels?
Yeah.
Won't you take me out? And that wasn't always the case. Now it's like, when can I find an occasion to wear heels? Like, let me try to wear heels as much as possible, because that is something that we came into the marriage saying that, I was gonna do. But now we're recalibrating. And maybe it's something you thought that I like to do. I do love heels. I love the way they make me feel. I think that's a woman thing. I think it's a thing that makes you feel empowered. And then you kind of get married and you're kind of like, well, I got you.
Yeah, snack. Same thing for us. I wasn't this big when we got married.
It's all right.
So, I love going to the gym.
Keep me warm.
Prior to, fuzzy season.
You're my shelter.
And then kind of fell out of that. Like, this is the biggest I've
Bro,
ever been.
sweating
Well,
for the
minus
wedding.
sweating for the wedding. We
We
in
stayed
there.
in the gym, bro.
And then it was like, okay, we're here now. The going out, like you made mention of, we did go out to eat
A lot.
a lot, and then we started being cognizant of money. Like, we shouldn't spend $700 eating out on top of the groceries that we're buying for
$700 in
$800.
groceries.
Like, we should be doing something different. And so I think that once you settle in and like the rubber meets the road, we're still in honeymoon phase. I'm still in honeymoon phase. I won't speak for you. But 8 years in, and I'm still in honeymoon phase where I don't know, Google Gaga I me. I'm still thankful for the direction that we're going and the way we're able to communicate. When I'm teaching the guard card class, effective communication is one of the modules that we go through, and it just tells you the different types of communication. And that to me is a part of the fight. I have to choose how I'm going to talk to you. My favorite part is when we get to tone, because that's your word, and it's not what I say to you, it's how I say it to you. And I think that aspect of it is important, and what a lot of people aren't willing to deal with. They're not willing to learn these different techniques. They're not willing to put the effort into trying to do these different things with their significant other, which leads to falling out of love. And I don't remember if it was my parents or just growing up. What happens when you fall out of love, and then what do? My dad still went to work, and I'm not saying my parents fell out of love. I'm saying that when I saw the obvious, hey, mom and dad aren't talking to each other right now, but dad still went to work and put food on the table and provided. Mom still went to work and she handled business and reared the kids. And there was ups and downs and things that I don't know about and things that I can't speak on. But as a married person now with you, I can see that there are things like, sometimes it's not going to be all sunshines and rainbows, but there's going to be opportunity to get everything together. And I think to me, that's the part that is important. I didn't really see my parents argue and fight, but I did see them try. And so I'm 38 now, so they've been married 38 years. And I have a good example, apostle and evangelist, amazing examples. And I think that that's where we have a solid foundation, but a lot of people don't. They don't have good examples in front of them, and I think that matters.
Choose your heart.
Choose your hard. Being fat is hard. Going to the gym is hard. Choose your hard.
Being married is hard. Being single is hard. Choose your heart.
Okay.
And I think on that note, the thought process of I didn't know what this is gonna be. It's like having a kid. You're super excited about being pregnant. You're super excited about the baby. You're super excited about the toddler. You're super excited about the pre-K. You're super excited about the second grade. You're super excited about the 5th grade graduation. And then Joker becomes a teenager.
Yo.
And you're like, so I didn't know that this was gonna be like this. Like, I didn't know that they would put me on the brink of wanting to absolutely, maybe possibly commit a crime. And in your mind thinking of how you'd be okay with the consequences of that crime.
Peanut butter in your pants?
Yeah, I would get away with it. But that thought process of, you don't know how that kid's gonna turn out. Like, you hope and you pray and you do the things that you're supposed to do, but at the end of the day, they have free will. And that's a huge proponent of marriage. Like, I actually don't know what's gonna happen in our marriage. The prayer is that we live happily ever after. But what if happy ever after doesn't, not you turned around and smiled at me. What if happy ever after doesn't happen? Like, what if after happily ever is hard? What if there is, like what we were saying before, like, what if you lose your job? What if I lose my job? What if I gain weight? What if I lose weight? What if
you do what, girl?
Whatever. What if I get depressed?
Girl.
There's so many times that there have been spaces where I felt not like myself, and I've just come to a place where I've been like, hey, so I'm not okay.
Yeah.
But that's a choice. You choose to communicate that. You choose to say, like, I know I'm saved. I know I have Jesus. I know that I'm in ministry, but today I feel kind of like I don't want to do nothing.
I think you have to have the space. I have to make it safe for you to be able to say I'm not okay. Just like you make it safe for me to come home, and you know what? Today was a poop emoji, and blah. And that's where a lot of men, you know, they say that, you know, I got to go to work and I got to fight. I got to go out into the world. I got to fight. I don't want to come home and fight you too. And so women, they do, well, my wife does an amazing job at making home a safe place where I can come, take my armor off, and just let the day roll off of me, and get reinforced at home. And that should be something that we provide to our wives as well, where if you're not okay, it should be okay for you to come and tell me that. You should feel safe enough to be like this is what's going on, or I don't know what's going on, and bear with me. You're really good about doing that. You're like, hey, this is getting ready to happen, and I'm giving you the heads up now. Because
Gas and me. Continue.
yeah, this is what's
Fill me up.
okay. This is what's happening. So I'm giving you the heads up now. I'm giving you the customary head now before I burn this thing to the ground.
Yeah.
And it's because you're acknowledging the fact that I'm willing to support you and whatever it is that you're going through, if I know what you're going through.
Right.
And you're the only person I've ever been with is like, this is what's happening, and I don't know what's happening. Or I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening, but this is how I feel. And because you're able to explain that, I'm not walking on eggshells around you. I'm able to be like, okay, what does she need? Does she need time? Does she need space?
Yeah.
Does she need
There's been
comfort?
so many times I've been like, so I feel crazy, and you're like, you're trying to do like triage.
I like crazy.
You're like, okay,
Yeah,
so is it
drama.
this? Did you eat? Did you do this? Did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I feel crazy. And you have been able to walk me through that, whether it's stop and pray with me, or tell me to go lay down, go get me something to eat, you know, go get me
Chick-fil-A.
something yummy to drink. You know, like it's just, I do think that our generation does not communicate well. They do not try to
No.
communicate. I remember my thought, we're talking about puppy love, and we had wrote that post like, love is not enough, you have to work, it's work. And our generation does not like to work. It's you know,
Stay at home,
everybody's
fast
blaming it on 2020 and what happened with the pandemic. But people already have those characteristics in them. The pandemic just made it easier.
Yes.
So now I don't have to go into work, I can be on the computer. Now I don't have to, you know, I can chill at home. You know, that first stint when everybody got sent home and people were still dressing up to stay at home, and then jokers was in their pajamas and they bonnets. I'm not gonna talk about the person I'm talking about that lives in our house. But I love that for her. I love when she first started working from home, she would dress up, and now we just bought her some really nice pajamas and she is chilling. You know, and that's nothing against her. She knows who she is, but that's that thought process. Like, our generation does not like to work. This generation coming up does not want to work. Why would I go and work at Target or Chick-fil-A for $14 an hour when I can be an influencer?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Quick
Or
money,
YouTuber.
YouTuber.
Yeah.
Xbox,
And so-
not the streaming, Twitch streamers.
So the idea of puppy love is unrealistic because puppy love would not sustain you. You cannot stay a puppy forever.
Yeah.
You eventually have to be,
A big dog.
a big dog. You gotta be a big dog. And it's a lie that you can't teach your old dog new tricks.
Yeah, you teach me all the things.
You have to learn what makes that dog's tail wag.
Yeah. You know what makes my tail wag?
Please stop. So,
Give me a kiss. I love you.
I love you too.
Let's go get in the water.
Let's go get in the water. Period.
Period.
Mess my hair up. This is my Father's Day hair. I knew it was gonna get messed up, but yeah.
Look, I'm a natural hair fan.
He is a natural hair fan.
Okay, I don't mind the braids. I
Braids are
actually
technically natural
really
hair.
love the braids.
Uh-huh.
But when you pull that hair down, and you let that fro go,
Let your hair down. Continue.
let me run my fingers through it. You yourself now. Okay. Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it.
We got a lot of series going on right now.
So we did the blended and blundering. I really wanted to continue that, but Mike's ideology is that we're just gonna throw stuff out there.
Make
and,
you come back.
and then circle back to the series. So
Circle
blended and
back.
blundering will be something that we do a series on. Fighting for marriage is probably something, but as the stuff comes in, as people start talking to us about what they see, what they notice, what they struggle with, and as we go through what we see, what we notice, what we struggle with, we just find it pertinent to kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
And so I want that.
I want that too.
I saw her break that down. That was super easy.
Oh yeah, try.
Did you see the umbrella?
No.
Bet you she got it from Costco. All right, we love y'all. Peace. Out. Who's stopping?
You stop it. Come sit on my lap.
Nah, homie.